There are countless things in life we cannot control. The economy shifts without asking for our permission. People say cruel things, no matter how kind we try to be. Storms arrive, plans collapse, accidents happen, and losses come when we least expect them. Life unfolds with a rhythm of its own, and often it feels unfair. Yet the Stoics taught a truth so simple that it can transform an entire life. Control your reactions, and you control everything that matters. Because even when the events are out of your hands, how you interpret and respond to them is entirely yours. Think about this for a moment. If someone insults you, the insult itself is only sound, air vibrating in space. It has no weight until your mind decides to give it meaning. If a plan falls apart, it isn't yet suffering until you decide to treat it as catastrophe. If you lose something, the loss does not wound you until you cling to it as though your happiness depended on it. The outside world delivers events, but your mind decides whether they break you or leave you unshaken. Epictetus said it plainly. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. These words contain a power most people never discover, because what he means is that you already hold the key to peace. You cannot stop every storm, but you can stop yourself from being destroyed by it. This is not about suppressing emotions or pretending you don't feel pain. It is about taking back the power to decide what defines you. The insult does not define you. The failure is not your identity. The loss is not your essence. They are only events. You are the one who chooses how to meet them. Marcus Aurelius knew this better than most. As emperor, he carried the weight of armies, provinces, politics, and betrayals. Each day he woke to a world on fire. And yet, in his meditations, he reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He could not control wars or conspiracies, but he could control whether he met them with anger, with despair, or with patience, justice, and courage. That is why, even in the chaos of ruling an empire, he built an inner kingdom of peace. What if you practiced this in your own life? Imagine being cut off in traffic, and instead of exploding, you breathe and remind yourself, this moment will pass. I don't need to surrender my peace. Imagine being criticized, and instead of striking back, you ask yourself, is this true? If yes, I will learn. If no, it doesn't matter. Imagine losing an opportunity, and instead of falling into despair, you say, if it wasn't mine, something else will come, and in the meantime, I remain whole. These are not fantasies. They are choices available every single day. Seneca once compared life to a play. You don't choose the script, but you choose how you perform your role. Some roles are long, some short, some are tragic, some comic. But the quality of the play is not in the script, it's in the performance. And so it is with life. You don't get to choose every event, but you get to choose the courage, the calm, the dignity with which you respond. Modern life offers endless chances to test this. A boss criticizes you unfairly. A stranger mocks you online. A plan falls apart. A dream is delayed. The Stoic question is simple. Will you give your peace away so easily? Will you hand control of your mind to every passerby, every twist of fortune? Or will you hold steady, guard your reactions, and live as master of yourself? Because the one who controls their reaction doesn't just win the moment. They win their freedom. Too many people live as prisoners of their reactions. One rude comment ruins their whole day. One setback convinces them the world is against them. One mistake haunts them for weeks. They are not living. They are being dragged by events. But the Stoic learns to pause, to step back, to create a space between stimulus and response. In that space lies all the power. Viktor Frankl, who survived the camps of World War II, said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." He wasn't a Stoic by name, but his life embodied their truth. Detachment from reaction is not weakness, it's strength. Anyone can lash out in anger. Anyone can collapse in fear. That takes no training. But to remain calm when insulted, patient when delayed, steady when struck by loss, that is mastery. And mastery is built choice by choice. Each time you resist being dragged by anger, you grow stronger. Each time you choose patience instead of panic, you train your mind. Over time, it becomes who you are. This does not mean denying your feelings. The Stoics never said, "Feel nothing." They said, "Do not let your feelings control you." Marcus Aurelius wrote about his frustrations. Seneca admitted his fears. Epictetus endured slavery and hardship. They all felt deeply, but they also knew emotions are visitors. They arrive, but you decide how long they stay and how much power they have. And that is why controlling your reactions is not just about peace. It's about power. The person who angers you controls you. The person who scares you controls you. The event that breaks you controls you. But when you control your reactions, you take back that power. You become free, not because life bends to you, but because you no longer bend to life. This mastery touches everything. In relationships, you stop letting every word or mood of another person dictate your own. At work, you stop panicking at every shift in fortune and remain steady in effort. In health, you accept the body's limits without collapsing into despair. In ambition, you strive fully, but without letting failure destroy you or success corrupt you. When you control your reactions, you become untouchable, not because nothing affects you, but because nothing masters you. The Stoics advised starting with small steps. If someone speaks rudely, remind yourself, "This does not touch my character." If the weather ruins your plans, remind yourself, "The day is still mine to use well." If anger rises, pause, breathe, count to 10, and remind yourself, "This too will pass." Small moments train you for larger storms. Like a soldier training in drills before battle, the Stoic trains the mind daily to be ready for life's hardest trials. Ask yourself now, where are you most often controlled by reaction? Anger, fear, envy, pride. Naming it is the first step. Then, when it arises, step back and say, "This is not theirs to control, but mine." Each time you do, you reclaim more of yourself, and repeated daily, this practice can transform your entire life. The freedom that comes from this is profound. Imagine no longer being shaken by disapproval. Imagine no longer losing sleep when plans fail. Imagine no longer being consumed by anger when wronged. This is not fantasy. It is the fruit of disciplined reaction. When you master it, you become like a rock in a rushing river. The waters crash, but you remain unmoved. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Much of our suffering comes not from events, but from our reaction to them. If you can master that, you cut suffering in half. And not only suffering, you open yourself to peace, wisdom, and freedom. Because once you are no longer ruled by reaction, you can live guided by reason and virtue, not impulse and chance. So the next time life tests you, when you're mocked, when a plan fails, when fear rises, pause. Remind yourself, I cannot control what just happened, but I can always control my reaction. In that choice lies everything. Whether you remain broken or unshaken, a prisoner or free, weak or strong. And if you found meaning in this reflection, join me by subscribing. Each week, we explore Stoic lessons not as distant philosophy, but as living practices for modern life. Share in the comments which reaction most often controls you, and how are you working to master it. Your honesty may inspire someone else to take their first step toward freedom. Because here is the truth, the world will never stop testing you. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will shift. Fortune will rise and fall. But if you control your reactions, none of it can steal your peace. That is the kind of power no one can take away. That is the Stoic way. And it is a way worth walking.